here we are, back on Medusa. Finally. I know you guys and gals have been waiting, and I appreciate your patience. Got a lot of projects going on. Sometimes we gotta make time. So what are we doing today? What are we gonna do? We're gonna treat this gal right. We're gonna get this junk cleaned out of this car today. I say junk, but it's parts. We're gonna assess what we got, and we're gonna figure out how to get this front end put together. So let's get started here. Last time, if you guys and gals remember, we got this baby all straightened out. Got this side looking good. Got our door openings and stuff done. There we go. I'm going to pull something out of here, and a lot of you have been following me a while will understand why we were able to take the front section, a couple parts off of that, and rob that for Carmen. This will make a lot of sense once you see this. I don't know if a lot of you guys and gals are familiar with what this is. This will be in my new front frame section. Okay, there's a company that makes these, and what it does, it gets rid of this big chunk of steel in between the frame rails, lops off the front frame rails on this. This will replace that, so we're going to set this aside. We're not quite ready for that part yet. Alright guys and gals, now let's touch a little bit more on that K-member piece that I pulled out of Medusa here, and I'll show you what I was talking about, because I obviously didn't realize you couldn't see me. Anyhow, so what that piece is going to do, okay, that's going to keep our factory upper control arm mounts. It's going to key off of our lower factory bottom control arm mounts. But what it allows you to do is you eliminate this front horn section on both sides, this huge metal chunk here in the center, which is going to open up so many opportunities for us with motor placement, height up and down, whatever we need, you know. And I'm still undecided yet, guys and gals, what we're going to do for a drivetrain. I got some ideas, but I'm not 100% on what I want to do yet. So I want to keep that as an option. Now let's walk over here to this. Okay, this is the K-member that's going to replace that front section, okay? So these two upper points, okay, are going to be where our upper control arms are located. There'll be a plate there. This will recess into the original frame and it'll all get tied back together. These tabs back here are going to bolt to where our lower control arms actually fasten to the car. And what this provision here is for rack and pinion setup. That's why we were able to take the steering box out of Medusa for Carmen. Okay, so we're going to get set up here. We're going to get the rest of this stuff cleaned out of old Medusa, and we'll click it back on when we're ready. Alright guys and gals, we're just trying to figure out how to get in this baby. No floor, Mort. Can't get in here. We're going to take the opportunity here and show you a little bit the inside of the car. So a lot of guys and gals have been asking, what size are the tires? How big are they? How do I get them in there? So what this is an S&W Universal Lowrider 4-link back half, okay? Now I do know S&W makes a back half kit for a Malibu for El Caminos, all them good things. Nothing wrong with them, nothing against that. It's just not what I was after. So what I ended up doing here is I took and put this in place while the original frame section, you see the horns down here, we're still in. Got it all leveled up, put in place where I wanted it, welded up, and now we're at the part here in the build where I wanted to switch over and get the body straightened out because I did the two-door conversion. Now a lot of you guys and gals, you know, you see inside here too. This is where the original B-pillar was. Okay, I made this plate here to fill this in. That needs to be finished welded and all, but like I said, a lot of this car, I work on it when I have spare time, and a lot of it's tacked in, and a lot of stuff I know I have to come back and reassess. So what do we got in here? We got ourselves a Moser 9-inch Fab 9 rear. Okay, we got us Willwood disc brakes. Okay, with, you know, street car stuff with emergency brake setup, and we got our gun drilled axles. Don't have our center section yet because, like I said, this is a long-term project for me. I'm not a guy that's rich by any means, rich in life and love, but not money. You get what I'm saying? All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to show you what we got. Got my mock-ups in there. This is another little trick for you guys and gals, okay? If you know the overall height of your shop, compressed height, or where it's at, this is a good way to get your ride height for your car without having any weight or anything on it. You know you're exactly what you need. So that's why I use the eyelets there for that. That allows me to set my wheel and everything in my opening how I want it. All right, so what we're going to do, what's our goal today? A couple things. I want to get the rest of this ripped out so that when I continue my fabrication up front there, I don't have to worry about any of this catching on fire or being in the way or impeding what we're trying to accomplish. Second thing, got our front end here, okay? Our grill shell, our grill. This is another piece that I ended up making. This is all steel. This is steel, okay? I didn't have anything against the Malibu front end, but you know, when you got a car that's this modified and this much is done to it, you really just don't want to cop out on the front here and not put something custom up there as well. So I got a nose piece as well we're going to get out. We're going to assess how they look, get them figured out, get them fitted back on the car, and give this gal a face. So we'll click it back on when we're ready. I almost forgot to tell you what size the tires were, guys and gals. My fault. So what we got here, we got a 10-inch wheel, 5-inch back spacing. I believe these are Jag spike wheels. Yeah, I think that's what they are. Now these are my street wheels, okay? And a lot of you guys and gals are wondering, you know, what direction are you going with this car? And I'll be honest, at first I wanted a race car, okay? And the more I checked in my purse, I didn't have the budget for a race car. You know, not to be out there and be competitive and all that good stuff. So then I changed up and I was like, well, maybe I'll just make a stick shift radial car. You know, same thing. A lot of money, guys and gals. You know, and I'm a hobbyist. I'm just one-man band here. I just do my thing, and as I can afford things, I buy them, and I put them on, and that's how we get our cars done. So what are the tires? So we got Mickey Thompson's. These are the Sportsman SRs. They're street rod tire, okay? Like I tell you, a lot of my influence is street rods. What size are they? We got 29, 15 by 15. Pretty nice size tire. Oh, baby. Yes, sir. So, this is their street setup, and these wheels, I mean, they're pretty trash from being in the shop here. Not to worry, because I got a plan for these for later on. We'll get to that at another time. So we're going to get ourselves set up here. We're going to get some tools out, and we're going to get this baby finally gutted. We'll click you back on when we're ready. All right, let's get in here and get this baby stripped out. Here we go. Okay. Start taking these air ducts and stuff off. Defroster. Dog's back to visit. about you guys and gals, but I like to keep Ziploc baggies, put all my bolts and nuts and stuff in there. Yeah, nothing worse than trying to put a project together and you can't find the hardware. That's a little helpful tip. Now this was just a heat car, so this would be your heat ducting and everything for your defrost, your floor, all that good stuff. Guess what? We don't need that. We're not going to put that back in. We're going to go a different route. Still got stereo stuff in here. Oh my. Alright, now guys and gals, like the crown jewel you've seen, we're doing wiring over there. A lot of these connectors, you want to be mindful and keep all of them you can. Okay, because you never know what you're going to need. Even if you're putting an aftermarket harness in something, take the time to disconnect these. Because if you ever plan on, well with this car we're not going to use this column, but say I wanted to use this column in carbon, I don't want to destroy this stuff. I'm going to take my time here and unplug it. That way I have the option of using it elsewhere. One more up there. I think we got her. I think we got her bad. And there we go. We got our connectors, we got our factory ends, we got everything we may need later down the road. Got one part of our fire hazard out of the way there. Let it stay with the column, so we're going to slide that back up. A lot of you guys and gals might be wondering what this is. This here is for my oil pressure line for my engine, okay? Instead of running the plastic line, I got this here AN fitting. Had the interior all done in here. I didn't want to take a chance of anything leaking, so that's why we went that way. They do make those copper lines for those fittings as well, and they seem to work pretty good. This is the kind of stuff here we don't want to leave in, because if we're cutting and welding and grinding, that stuff here will catch fire on you. that taken care of. Get this cleaned up. Get you out of here. All right, guys and gals, I think my helpers have finally wore themselves out. So there you go. You can see. Look at all the goodies we got out from the inside of this baby. Okay. A lot of stuff we need to get out of there just so we can go in here and get this firewall cut out. We don't have to run the risk of catching fire or any of that. Now, a lot of you guys and gals might be wondering, what are you trying to accomplish here with Medusa? What is the end goal here? So let's touch on that a little bit. Hold on a second, catch my breath. What Medusa is my dream car, okay? And I know a lot of you guys and gals are probably like, why? Why would you pick a wagon? Okay, this car, I've always liked cars that are different, okay? And Nomads to me are just way cool. But they quit making them. So what cooler thing than to make a modern styled Nomad wagon, you know? So that's where we're at. Now, a lot of you guys and gals will see in here, okay? I got the tube frame, or the square frame in the back. I got the factory frame up front. As to where there's nothing wrong with that per se. This isn't what I want for this car, okay? And a lot of you guys and gals will be like, man, why did you go through all that work and not want that? So what ended up happening with this car, it's had so many stages in its life to where it was a stock car, okay? It was a street rotted car, it did all the common stuff that you do. Basically everything that's in Carmen was in this car at one point in time. So I didn't essentially waste the stuff, I just relocated it. And what that allowed me to do was, to not essentially waste my money on that. Excuse me, utilize the parts I already had. But this is where I'm at with Medusa, okay? As you guys and gals will see, I got this grid system in here. That's to stabilize my body, okay? Because what my plans are, and this is a long-term project, like a lot of you guys and gals know, I'm going to end up taking this chassis completely out from under here, okay? And not going to use the factory chassis. What I'm going to end up doing is using parts of it, okay? And what I mean by that is like up front here. With this tubular K-member I have, the only remaining pieces of this factory frame that I'm going to end up having left is my upper control arm, this little bend here, and down to my first body mount. Okay? And with that being said, my idea is I want to make this a complete tube chassis car. Yes, that is going to be an extreme amount of work. Yes, it's going to be an extremely more expensive way of doing this car. But, like I told you guys and gals, I'm building this car one time. I say that, but yet I've done it 3 different times, 3 different ways. But when it's completely finished, I don't want to have this car 6 months after it's done and be like, I wish I'd have done this, I wish I'd have done that, and not have the opportunity to go back. So, what better way to make the perfect car that you want for yourself than to take your time, commit to a project, and see it through. So that's where we're at with Medusa. So what am I doing? I'm trying to get this body straight. I'm trying to get all my body gaps and everything the way I want them. I'm trying to get the body, let's just call it 90% there, okay? Because what I'm going to end up doing is taking this body off this chassis. And then we're going to end up starting to build our new chassis for Medusa out of round tube. That's going to be the end goal, okay? And a lot of you guys and gals, if you remember me saying I was going to put a funny car cage in this, I probably still will. I don't know. It depends. Depends on how far we get and how the projects come along when we get there. That's the intention. I want the baddest street-driven station wagon in my area. And I'm not going to stop until I get it there. So that's where we're at. So we're going to get us a trash can, clean this mess up, get these front end pieces put together, get this baby a face. Let's see what she looks like. We'll click you back on when we're ready. All right, we'll get this stuff cleaned up here. We'll get moved on. All right, guys and gals, here we are. We got our front end piece here. So what we got, that's a factory front nose piece. Let's get an air hose to blow this thing off. All right, so what we got here? So what we got here is a set of headlights that I got off of the website. Made me a backer plate, mounting plate essentially to mount my headlights to. I have these headlights mounted here. Now, you will notice that, you know, this is the factory nose cone here that I'm working with. So I got provisions put in that so that all my wiring can come through. This can sit in place here, and this stud picks all this up. So what we're going to have to go through here and do is get the rest of the hardware put in so that stays in place. Watch yourself, Maury. Same thing over here. It has like these little pigtails, little provisions for them. What it does, it keys in on the stand in the front here. The bolt goes on that, bolt goes on that, and it holds all that in. So we'll get ourselves some hardware here, get this all put together, mocked up, so we can get on to the next step. We'll click it back on when we're there. All right, guys and gals, there you go. Here's an example of why I keep Ziploc baggies. There's our hardware. Check that out. Wasn't hard to find. All right, so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna take and bolt this up, cinch this down, make sure everything's in line where it's supposed to be. So we can move on to our next step. Now the only problem I'll have with these headlights is once I go to adjust them, I'll have to shim the actual housings to make them work. Which isn't that big a deal because there is 4 attachment points on the back of them, so I can shim them whatever way I need to. Or I can even shim my plate here that I made to get me the end result that I'm looking for. There's that part, bolted in there. Now I could come down here on this bottom half, which I probably will at some point in time. This is the factory attachment point. So what I'll do is I'll make me a little L bracket. I mean, you can see how this kind of moves a little bit. I'll make a little L bracket, or just basically a flat tab on there, to where I can bolt that on as well. But for now, what we're doing, this will be just fine. So we're gonna go here to the other side and do the same thing. We'll click it back on when we're ready. All right, so let's see what we got next. Okay, there's this piece. This piece is made out of sheet metal. Put these tabs on it, welded it up, formed it the way I want it. Let's see if it still fits. Guess it'd help if I put it on the right direction. Ha ha! Maybe? Nope, I had it right away. It's been so long since I've done this, hard to remember. So what we ended up doing here is that there's a little screw provision that held the original headlight bezel on. We just utilized that as an attachment point for our front fascia. Makes a nice little hidden recess there for us. Same thing on our other side. It's all lined up. Sit back up. Guys and gals, I messed up. I should have put this in first. It's alright. Alright, we'll take that back off. Put this on, then put that on, and then you'll be able to see what it looks like all together. Click it back on when we're there. Alright, so now that we got that put together in the right order, let's get back to this. So, I don't know if you guys and gals can see from where you're at, but what I ended up using, like I said, the original bezel, it mounted to the side here, so that gave me a mounting hole were essentially a mounting tab that I could put a tab on my new piece. That way I could have some form or fashion of attaching it there, so it's not just flailing around. So with the screw put in that, see that? Just slides in between the headlight there, nice little hidden fastener. Holds that nice and secure for us. No worry about it flopping around. Same thing here on the other side. See how it's sticking up? That's just, you know, it's only one tab there, but what this will allow me to do is put this together and then build another piece to attach it, you know, more permanent. A lot of stuff, guys and gals, I don't draw things. I just put it into reality and see if it works. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, we'll figure out how to refine it and make it work. So that's what this process here is that we're getting into. You know, it's not hateful. Not a bad little fitment there, but I know we can get it better. So, all right, let me get this set up here. Stand this guy up. Let's just see what it looks like. How you doing, buddy? So what we got? We got our front piece. Got our headlights in. This is all steel. This is steel, this is steel, this is a piece of aluminum, 1/8 inch aluminum I made as my little front piece there. But there you go, with just a little bit of ingenuity and a little bit of forethought, you can get something like that made for front of your custom car. Alright, so we got that part done. Let's see if I can gather up my hardware and put this on the car and see what it looks like. Alright guys and gals, here we go. Let's get this front end put on this baby. Now I will say, guys and gals, this isn't the lightest front nose I've ever seen, but you know, we weren't really concerned about that obviously when we made it. Put these tabs up here, make sure they're on top. Line up the fender bolt. Just throw in there. We're not going to hammer any of this stuff down tight. We're just mocking all this up, because I want to make sure all this fits. Being we did our hood and everything like we did, I don't want to take a chance here of this nose being a little different. And if you guys and gals were with me when we did the hood for Medusa, you'll know it's actually a cowl off of a 70 to 72 Chevelle that we grafted onto our 78 to 87 Malibu hood. So, with that being said, this is the front nose piece, the peak that I was talking about in that video. If you haven't seen that video, go back and check it out. It's actually pretty cool. Alright, so there you go. That side, see how it butts up to her fender there? Hits our top. That lines up pretty nice. Front fascia there, that lines up pretty nice as well. Okay. Alright, so we'll get this put on, bolted up. We'll get the bumper over here and let's see what that's going to look like. Alright guys and gals, as you can see, got our front bumper pulled out. Our setup here on the bench. Now I'll show you what we got going on here, okay? What this is, this top piece is a hardwood fiberglass bumper for a Malibu, okay? So what I ended up doing, as you can see in here, I ended up cutting the ends off, cutting them down to size, fitting them, ended up making this extension piece to go to the front of the fender there, so it ends up in the wheel arch like the SS's did. Ended up putting, I guess a bill extension on here, and then grafting our turn signal / fog lights in the front here. All this stuff's filthy because it's been in storage for like 5+ years. But we're getting this stuff out, getting this refitted. So this is what I was talking about. This is your hardwood fiberglass bumper. I ended up sectioning this because on these Malibus and a lot of the G bodies up front here, like Harman has, it has the plastic little filler piece in here, okay? I didn't want that. So my bumper's fitted up like an old style bumper without the, you know, crash bar stuff and all that goodness. So that's what we ended up doing. So this piece is a manufactured piece up to here. We cut it. We grafted this back in and formed it the way we wanted it, and then fiberglassed it in. This piece here, okay, this all ended just like this and was about 1 inch. All right. So I made this whole portion that I wanted with the contour in it. I made the front, I guess that's an air dam, you'd call it, built in. And then with the front end with our headlights here, we'll walk up here and show you. With the original car, the turn signals were in underneath the headlights, okay? So the turn signals would have been right in this area. I didn't want that. I just wanted this clean look. It's so hard to tell, guys and gals, but this thing, if you back away from it, it looks like it's angry. I got the headlights pointed on a slight angle. If you see here, this is thinner, thicker. So the headlights are coming on an angle, so it has that angry face. And then, of course, you know, like the wrinkle in your forehead. Same thing here. So my bumper here, it actually sits really tight to the body. I wanted that sleek look. But these marker lights here, when it's outside, that's actually a turn signal, I guess, thing as well. So that's how I remain, you know, street legal. All right, guys and gals, here we go. Now you can see we got that bumper fitted up on there. Okay. See how it's nice and tucked in here? Like I said, with the original one, it'd be out here, oh my God, another 2-3 inches. Same thing here, it'd be a filler panel between the two. Okay, that's why we grafted this the way we did, shortened it up the way we did. And you can see with this, I wish I could get this car further away so we could actually see it. But as you can see in the front end, it's pretty vicious looking. You want to get a better angle here. I got a dovetail. And there you go. So what are we going to do next? I'll tell you what. I think we're going to call it a day for today on Medusa. Next time we come in here, what we'll have to end up doing, we're going to have to make a device to actually mount this bumper, because this is just literally sitting here being held on by, you know, its own free will. But we're going to make a back brace for the bumper, an actual piece of bumper behind this, in case something unfortunate were to ever happen. At least we have some kind of front end protection here. This is just fiberglass, guys and gals. It's in the steel bumper. It's not meant to replace the steel bumper. It's just the aesthetics of a bumper. So what we're going to do, we're going to make us a mount back here to where our bumper actually sits on the mount that is going to act as our actual bumper. So, all right. Well, you know why we do it. For the love of hot rods and horsepower. Go out there and get yourself a project. Start enjoying it. We'll catch you on the next one.